Today I'm here to talk to you about flares. My name is Josh Belsham. I'm the Compliance Officer at Yachting Queensland, but I'm here today on behalf of Yachting Queensland and Marine Queensland. So we mentioned previously that flares are a requirement in partially smooth and open waters. Generally you buy flares for your recreational boats in this inshore flare pack. So you'll actually get 2 red hand flares and then 2 orange smoke signals. Okay, but the thing with flares is that when they are produced, they're actually technically a pyrotechnic. They're an explosive device, but they do have this little date stamp here. So when they're in date, they're given exemption from the classification of being an explosive, and they are just used as a safety device or a flare. Now, when the police pull up, the first thing they say is, right, where are your flares? Second thing they say is, what's the expiry date? So firstly, if these are out of date, they're deemed not to be on board and you will get a flare. So you will get a fine for not having the flares on board. Now, if you're going offshore or further afield, we recommend you carry these rocket parachute flares. Now these ones shoot up some 300 metres in the air, where a parachute opens, they slowly float down and there's this burning flare. It gets quite bright, can be seen for a very long distance. Now for commercial vessels, these are required when going offshore, but more importantly for recreational vessels, it's just common sense, guys. If you're going further out, you need to be seen from a distance, carry these parachute flares. They do cost a bit more than the inshore flare pack, but well worth the price. Okay, so these orange smoke signals obviously are for daytime use only. The problem with these ones though is that because there's just a smoke that's emitted, if it's a fairly windy day, it does dissipate pretty quickly, not as effective. So the better ones obviously for day or nighttime use are these red hand flares. These burn very bright, get quite hot. But the thing I want to say about the flares is don't be afraid to use them. Now they can be dangerous in the wrong hands, but more importantly, they're there to be used in case of emergency. So, say you've broken down fuel, you've run out of fuel, you've broken down, and you tried the radio, for example, no one's responding, no one's listening. Well, the old rule of thumb is to only let these flares off when rescuers are in sight. But what we've found in many cases is that, say you're off Manly Harbour here, off the Gold Coast, for example, there's high-rises buildings, there's people everywhere, and people do tend to see these flares going off. In fact, the Coast Guard often have a whinge to it saying that they get 1,000 phone calls from pensioners saying they saw this flare going off. So I encourage you to use these if you are in some form of danger. But with an old saying, make sure you do at least keep some of them fresh, so when you are inside of rescuers, you can set one off so they can pinpoint you easily. Because if someone's searching from the air, it can be very hard to see you from a distance. So they're just more so to pinpoint your location from a distance. Okay, so the next question obviously is, what do you do with these expired or out of date flares? Now, the easy answer is, don't let them off at New Year's Eve, don't let them off after Grand Final footy, that sort of stuff. They are a recognised safety device, and when they do go off, people do report it. So make sure you use them seriously, but generally speaking, your volunteer marine rescue and Coast Guard stations will collect these, lock them away in a safe place, and then once a year they'll have them picked up by the mines department, who would then incinerate them. Now, the unfortunate thing is the mines department tell us that on average they sell around 6 tonne of flare every year. Now they're only getting back around 2 tonne of flare every year. Okay, so the other 4 tonne is just going to landfill, parties, soccer games, whatever it might be, but it's not the correct way to dispose of these things. So like I said, guys, take them to the VMR, take them down to the Coast Guard, they'll happily take them off your hands. So to improve yourselves and further your boating knowledge, I once again encourage you to look at the rest of our boating safety videos, subscribe to the channel, but more importantly, get onto the Yachting Queensland and Marine Queensland websites. And lastly, don't forget, we also have this Safe Boating Workbook, which has all the important stuff that you'll need to know.